We must talk Warley's Volt Goat Jelly, or whatever the heck it's called. It may only provide 37.5 hunger, 10 sanity, and 3 health, but it's the food's electrical properties that will make the sparks fly. For little over half a day, these jellies add electrical damage modifiers to any attack of any character. But we will shoot for the moon and see what heights we can actually stretch it to. The 3 honey required for the crap is easy enough. But let's freshen up on them milk producers, yes? You're gonna find them in the Oasis Desert and the Oasis Desert alone, at least from the very start of the game. And goats roam in herds very much like beefalo do, and they'll repopulate very much like beefalo do too. But trying to chase one of them down for a little slice and dice is not gonna happen during the day. They're too fast and are not gonna bother you unless you hit them with a dart or boomerang first. However, nothing escapes the smell of death, so wait till the beasts are asleep and then do all the whacking you please. But I really wouldn't recommend killing them all, though. Head on back, goat parts in hand, and toss them in with 3 honey for our recipe of the day. But now, it's time to charge up, folks. With the 1.5 times electrical damage modifier and just a simple character with no additional damage modifiers themselves, you can already see the easily obtainable Hambat going from 59.4 damage to 89.2 damage each swing. Having not dropped below 89 damage a swing, the jelly propels our DPS to nearly 179 per second compared to the normal 118 per second. Yeah. But we're just getting started, cause remember now, we gain bonuses from wet enemies. All types of hentai are always technically wet, so an electrified Hambat strike on a normal character equals 148 damage against these things, so be gone, demons. Other swamp locals like Merms are considered wet too, so even more 148 damage strikes are coming up potentially. And of course, the living, breathing hentai below may also feel your wrath too if you do so choose, which is very, very nice. But let's turn it up a notch, shall we? And I know what you're thinking. Of course, I'm just gonna go combine electrical weapons like the Morningstar electrical dart with the Volt Jelly for more electrical shocks. But actually, we ain't even touching these things. Sure, you're gonna see notable increases in their damage output, especially against wet enemies, but there are actually far better options that are worth your time. Like the trusty Dark Sword. Honestly though, the Glass Cutter from the Return of Them would probably be way better, and I do have plans to test that on a cheeky Fuel Weaver fight once Warley and the Beta Branch kinda combine. But for now, a Nightmare Blade is gonna have to do. Proceed to electrify yourself and start slicing the dish up 102 damage per hit. Again, this is going to translate to every character who isn't Wolfgang or Wigfrid, so that is good stuff. That is 204 DPS on normal survivors, and that is right on up there with some of the highest they can achieve all around. But for you Wig players, anticipate 127 damage per swing on non-wet enemies of all sorts, which is crazy enough. But as for Wolfgangs, expect the casual 200 plus damage for a short period of time. You know, no big deal. That will drop as his hunger does, but come on now. Most things are already going to be dead before that even dips below 195. But again, it's all about the wetness, ain't it? Well, normal characters with these modifiers active will be dealing upwards of 170 damage to wet enemies. So you are basically becoming Wolfgang more and more by the minute, all from just eating goat guts. And that's awesome. Wolfgang himself, though, has got a Wolfgang. Fight a wet moose that looks like a goose, or anything wet for that matter, to absolutely melt anything at upwards of 340 damage a swing. That is 680 damage a second if you're fighting properly. You only need to smack Moose Goose, a seasonal boss with 6,000 health, less than 18 times to kill her dead Zoe. That's just insane, and from just one munch, too. So let's put that to the ultimate test. A fiery raid boss. Dragonfly sits at nearly 30,000 health, and usually takes plenty of time to solo yourself, even as a mighty Wolfgang. But as you will see in this clip, I not only stun her myself in near record time, but also end the first damage phase with her at 18,479 health. That in and of itself is ridiculous. But as we continue here, you'll truly begin to see the insanity of this potential combination. Because as she returns, the damage is still reaching into the high 330s. But I later begin to lose grip on my weapons during the fight, making the damage per second falter a tad here and there. But even with that though, we still manage to stun her and eventually end up two-cycling the Dragonfly solo. I don't think I need to explain how rare and extremely difficult that is as a solo player. And that's just in casual play. I could have easily kept my damage as high as possible throughout the fight to truly slaughter her. But, can you believe it, folks? It somehow gets even better than this. Everyone recall those spices that Warley brought with him to the Constant? Well, one of them, having to do with peppers, increases your damage by 20% if sprinkled on a meal. And guess which meal we're gonna be sprinkling all them peppers on? With it, even normal, non-combat modified characters will be doing over 200 damage a hit, to wet enemies that is, but they still boast 122 normally regardless, and that's incredible. It is just incredible. And so easy to accomplish too, which may be the craziest part of all this. But it is truly Wolfgang's time to shine, everyone. Even non-wet mobs will sustain 244 plus damage a hit, which can melt anything already, but light those soaked beasts up and deal the mind-boggling 407 damage a hit, at least very briefly. Damages will still sit around the high 390s and low 400s for most fights anyways, and to be honest, I just don't even know what to say at this point anymore. It's just, I don't know. It's nuts. It's just truly, absolutely, positively nuts. And I'm not just talking about the potential for Wolfgang here either. The damage is coming from normal survivors with but a dark sword, and even non-wet enemies being hit is just unheard of and just game-breaking. Who knew our milk-having friends had it in them, huh? But thanks for watching, everyone. Well wishes to all, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.